Hey, what's up guys, it's Apollo Uchiha here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with a new story. The name of the story is What If Naruto Was the Golden Boy of Konoha? And yeah guys, it is an unscripted story and my own idea. Now before continuing this, as for reason why I'm making this story is well because I made too much dark Narutos in this, month. So I was hoping for a, kind of slice of life, peaceful Naruto fanfiction. So here it is. I hope you enjoy this one, and if you do, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you like the content of this channel. And yes, I will be moving back to your ideas. Tomorrow may or may not be a movie, so I'm gonna pick an idea again. So yeah, do your best in the comment sections. Without any further ado, let's begin with our today's story. Story begins in Konoha Gakure no Sato, a few days after the Kyuubi attack inside the council chamber. As we go there to see, the whole council was gathered there, and they were bickering amongst one another, because the funds from the daimyo has arrived to rebuild their, village, and the damages to be repaired as well. And the shinobis alongside with the civilians were currently fighting one another and were at each other's throats, demanding that they needed more funds. As Hiruzen then said, "Enough! The funds will be distributed equally." Now if this is the main reason that this meeting was held, then this is the end of discussion. We have a lot more things to take care of aside from this matter. As that is when Danzo stood up. There is one more thing that I would like to ask and highlight, Hiruzen. I would like to know, first of all, how did the Kyuubi got free? And second of all, what happened to it? What do you mean by that? I know there is a new Jinchuriki, Hiruzen, and I'm pretty sure that everyone here wants to know who that Jinchuriki is. As everyone became suddenly quiet and there was a heavy silence in the room, Hiruzen was the one who broke that silence. That kid is protected by me. His identity is kept secret because his parents were shinobis of this village, and extremely loyal ones at that. Some of you might even be friends with them, familiar with them, but I cannot disclose the information because of the enemies lurking within the village. And true, that is correct, but still, can you at least give us a name? I'm trying to protect your son the best I can. I see. Now, I would like to ask, what is your future goals with the Jinchuriki of the village? Because we have suffered enough, and we don't want to go through what happened a few nights ago again, Hiruzen. That won't happen because the seal that is placed on the boy is powered by the Shinigami itself, because it is a circuit known as the Kyuubi itself. As everyone was taken aback by that, as mummers begin, as that is when Shikaku Nara from the Narak like to ask, if the seal is that much secured, then why would Minato seal it inside a child? I mean, we all know that Kushina was at least 8 or 9 as she arrived in the village when Mito-sama gave the Biju to her. As everyone nodded to that, then why an infant child? Unless there is a connection between them. As everyone began to murmur even more, as Hiruzen was now sweating and was quiet. As that is when Fugaku stood up. Tell us, Hokage-sama, is Naruto Minato and Kushina's child? As everyone was taken aback by that, what Fugaku said, as the civilians finally grasped what was being said amongst the shinobis, and then said, "It makes perfect sense, doesn't it? I mean, our Hokage-sama, he was so great that he wouldn't ask anyone to hand over his child, so he gave this duty to his own son." Head of the civilian council then stood up. "Enough. If that is true, then that child should be protected as Hiruzen-sama said, with everything we have, from both the civilian side and from the shinobi side as well." As that is when Inuichi stood up. "That is correct what Haruno-san has said. Hokage-sama, we need to protect. It seems your friends were able to figure me out." And I was known as the professor back in my time. Times do have sure changed. As that is when he stood up and said, "This is the truth. He is the heir to both Minato and Kushina. He is their child and legacy, and the current Jinchuriki of the village tonight." As one by ones, every other friends of Minato and Kushina swore the same thing upon their clan's name and honor. And Danzo seeing this, saying that he would place the child in the orphanage and they can send the shinobis in the form of a team to he as the elders. Also say that the child will be watched over by us, and we swear on it. As after that, the whole council came to an agreement. Naruto must be protected. As after that, Danzo at that time was defeated, and Naruto's fate was saved, and his identity was known to many. although unbeknownst to him actually by the time that. As now we see, time passed as 8 years went by in the blink of an eye. As now we see an 8-year-old Naruto sitting inside Hiruzen Sarutobi's office, his Gigi's office, reading books about economies as well as many other things. Naruto had no little interest in taking one's life or training. He had trained, but in order to protect himself, and his biggest weapon in all of that field was his brain. Because turns out, like Minato and Kushina, Naruto was much more than a prodigy. He was a damn right genius who was once in a lifetime born in this world. As now we see, Hiruzen was still looking at his paperwork, quite thoroughly worried. As Naruto, seeing that, then closed his book and got up. Alright, Gigi, I'm seeing that expression on your face again. Why are you extremely worried? It's the budget, Naruto. If I don't allocate it rightly, everything will go down. Because the daimyo has sent this in, the budget is too small and I don't know how to distribute this much in the shinobi's factor as well as in the civilian factor. I don't want to have another headache and a huge council meeting. Can I see it? I don't know how this will help, but go ahead, kid, said Hiruzen. As Naruto after that took a pencil and a piece of paper and drew out the whole budget. And after he showed this to Hiruzen, Hiruzen was taken aback, as he then thought to himself for the time being. And in the night time, a council meeting was held in order to debate about the budget, but Hiruzen presented with them something. Actually, early this morning, Naruto was sitting with me while I was trying to draw up a budget. He gave me this, and I have been thinking about it. Wait, you let a 8-year-old decide upon our budget? Said Danzo. First of all, I want you to see for yourself, then decide. As all of the clan heads first saw this and were quite taken aback that this was actually done by an 8-year-old. And then the civilians saw it, as Haruno Mebuki then said, fascinating. I did not thought for that one bit. He equally distributed in each sector in such a way that we still have some funds left, even with such little funds. I don't believe this. As that is when eyes widen. I don't believe this. How did the kid do this? I told you Naruto was a genius. As now we see, after that, the next morning Naruto was called inside the council chamber. As Naruto, with a book in his hand, arrived there at him from the civilian and the shinobi side, seeing that the kid was timid but well respectful of others. He described, how did you come up with that budget? Well, I saw that there were needs on all sides and the money that was given to us is more than enough. It will only fill out the most needful resources that we need, but leaving out the less needful one for the time being. In this way, I cut it off those and we were able to come to a conclusion and even still have enough funds so that we can have them as backup for the future. Wait, what about these backup funds? What do you mean by that? I mean in case in the future if we ever run out of funds and are in desperate need of help, unlike from asking from daimyo for months to no end of, well, receiving a message, we can use these funds on our own and it will help us to become an independent village aside from any daimyo or what else. That is what I thought, at least, said Naruto, rubbing the back of his head with his hand, looking down as if he was caught on by the headlights coming on towards him, embarrassed, as everyone was taken aback by that. That is certainly interesting, as this gave a lot of them to further think about. They have never thought about it and always depended upon daimyo for their future needs, but them becoming self-sufficient of a village? This would have been a first, and Konoha doesn't have to listen or do the bidding of the daimyo. Stood up, that child is a genius. Even if he doesn't become a shinobi, we have to make sure. How can you say that, Danzo? I was pretty sure that you were. I was gonna argue and intervene, but the kid with just a few words was able to sway everyone around, and even me. Now even I can see a self-sufficient Konoha in future. We have been able to do daimyo's bidding to no end, year after year, and we have seen many daimyos go and come and go by. We have to look like dogs in front of him, just now murmuring what Danzo said. Because even Danzo, who was the least of them well capable of seeing such things in positive lights, was seeing. Hiruzen then said, Now, listen here. It might have been a fluke, but what you said is correct. We will keep an eye on Naruto for the time being to see how far he goes, but if he decided not to be involved in the shinobi world, then we respect his wishes. even though he is our Jinchuriki. Said Hiruzen to test out Danzo. Yes, even though he is our Jinchuriki. Because if Konoha becomes a nation, going with a war in a nation, we have the nation standing and we can go to, well, other nations to demand alliances and to tell them that take care of their dogs on leash. Think about it. As now we see, everyone was thinking so, because shinobi villages have been like dogs on leash, attack dogs of the nations for violation and other nations, and so far they could see an opportunity to come out of this enslavement that they have been placed upon, without the notice or more like the ignorance of the previous leaders. As now we see, some more time passed as Naruto began to help out people here and there. Unknown to him, these were the tasks given to him by the elders and even the civilian side of the people, and even the shinobi sector. And sometimes even the clan heads would call him and have a clan meeting of their own in their compound, and Naruto would even resolve their issues and have them have their own reserves and funds saved and distribute amongst all of them in such a way that they were quite happy with it. And so Naruto was known as the Golden Boy of Konoha, or was being called out. But that was not all. Naruto was able to help out a lot of people of his age, such as Sasuke Uchiha, his best friend. Naruto was able to guide him to become a better version of himself. After Naruto found him one day at the bank of river, trying his best to do the fireball jutsu. As Sasuke was panting heavily. Why are you training so hard? You could almost pass out, I can see it. And you're doing the jutsu wrong. I can see that you're burning yourself from within. What is it to you? Who even are you? I'm Naruto. Naruto, huh? You're that boy that father talked about highly, said Sasuke, looking a bit jealous. Even though he wasn't an Uchiha, he himself being an Uchiha was left out and was well respected by his clan and by his father most of all, and his Nissan. Listen, friend, I'm not your friend. Well, okay, I guess. Sasuke, was it? You're Itachi-san's little brother. Yes, what of it? I can help you with this. How can you help out? Well, how about you do these hand seals this way? As Naruto showed him the hand seals, and after that he told him to take a deep breath, and then, as he was about to release his breath, use huge amount of chakra into his breath while releasing. As that is what Itachi did, and his fireball jutsu was so used that the mountain in front, far away from there, was destroyed completely. As that is when Fugaku and the others arrived there. Itachi, who has been watching this from the shadow, also jumped down. That is interesting ideology of the jutsu, Naruto. I for one did not thought for a bit that the jutsu could be this much destructive. And Sasuke? Yes, Nissan? Good job. You did good. As after that, Fugaku was also proud of Sasuke. And thanks to Naruto's help, Fugaku and the others recognized Sasuke because he too revealed huge potential. As that is when another meeting was held. As Fugaku revealed this, so many other clan heads also got involved and thought of a test for Naruto if he could bring out the best potential in their children to be the next clan head. Next was Hiyashi Yuga. His oldest, Hinata Yuga, the first in line to be the clan head, has been always the pacifist one. So Naruto and her were put in a room, as Naruto, after seeing her spar with Neji, was, well, left to her. As Naruto tended to her wounds first, which, well, unbeknownst to many, but Hiyashi and Hinata, well, brought a certain feeling to her heart as she was blushing when Naruto helped her out. Listen to me, Hinata-chan. I know it is good and nice to be a pacifist. I myself, for one, don't like fighting and all that. But still, you are bound with the responsibility of a whole clan. They look up at you and want to see a strong, formidable leader. It is okay to be kind. But remember, when the time is right, you have to be forceful to enforce your rule and law. And that is why you should train, not for yourself alone, but for many others. Think about it this way. What if something happens to your little sister? What if something happens to your father? Your loved ones, what would you do? Would you still be pacifist and won't allow anything to happen? I won't allow that to happen. See? That is why I want you to train. They want you to train because they think that you have the potential to be their leader, the one who protects them and guides them. As after that, Hinata began to put in the work and wasn't any more hesitant. But whenever Naruto was around, she was turning all red and would even blush or even pass out to some extent. Naruto was quite not sure why did this happen, but he was there for her as a friend. As now we see, next was Inoichi Yamanaka. As Ino was, well, quite a chatterbox and always fawned over boys, but once she went with Naruto and she began to share quite some, well, taste of their own. And after that, Naruto was able to brought her around and was able to reveal to her that beauty was not all that seems from the outside. It was from what was within. And that ideology alone changed Ino so much that she became a strong, formidable Kunoichi for her age and was going to be the second strongest maybe in the future in the whole Yamanaka clan. But she also fell in love with Naruto, kind of unaware to him, because Naruto was able to tell her something that she needed to be told for a great long of time. And after that, finally, Naruto went on and made friends with many other clan heads' children and even the civilians. Naruto was known as the true golden boy and was the definition of it. Unbeknownst to him, the whole village now fawned over him. Naruto, at the age of 13, once he arrived at that age, was still a civilian that was well respected by both the shinobi and the civilian sectors, and was able to bring great changes to the whole village through his knowledge and his insightfulness and his future plans and goals, which were quite daring and bold, some might say. He was able to liberate Konoha from the Fire Nation itself, and the Fire Daimyo was not happy about it. But after he had a debate with Naruto, even he had a lot to think about of what his ancestors have done and how he could strengthen the Fire Nation without the need of Konoha. And as for Konoha, Konoha now was left with a great deal of things to do after becoming a nation. And once again, Naruto came to their rescue with his insightfulness. Within just 2 more years, at the age of 15, Naruto was able to turn Konoha from a village into a strong nation of its own right, as many of its competitors now saw this as a threat and wanted to strive on their own. But the more they tried without the help of a professional like Naruto, the more they failed badly and fell into the claws of their masters, the nations they depended upon. And as for Konoha, the land once known as the Shinobi Village was now a land of its own right, and was completely green. And the whole council of the village was quite proud and happy. So said that he was not sure if he was able to take care of that responsibility for the time being, and left to eat some ramen and had do his job, which was to look into the affair and funds of all. And Naruto, even at that age, was given his own office. While this was going on, we go back to the council chambers of Konoha, where we see that everyone was gathered there, and even for today's occasion was Jiraiya, who has seen and met with Naruto and seen his village. "You see, Jiraiya," said Hiruzen, while both of them were walking amongst the streets of their nation, "this is all thanks to Naruto. We are liberated. I thought we always had to rely on the daimyo, but now that is no longer the need or reason. Naruto has even taken in some apprentices. I'm surprised that my own grandson Konohamaru wants to be sensei. I can't argue there. You know, if a few years ago you would have told me that, you know what I would have said? I would have just laughed my ass off. But I all chose the right thing to do in the beginning, that his life turned out like this. And from it, gentlemen, Hiruzen, I say this for everyone, I think, to keep up with the changes that are going to come our way, and as well as the challenges. To the point where even if any other nation tries to invade us, we will be able to defend ourselves. And so they brought this to Naruto. Now Jiraiya himself thought that now had to stay in the village for the time being to see the changes, and he saw that Naruto was able to come up with Fuinjutsu defenses to such an extent with his help, because he was a Fuinjutsu master, that Konoha defenses were second to none and were even far more as after that we see the next was the shinobi, as Naruto and Shinobi were now going through rigorous training and also relaxing to the point where they didn't have this, well, these rules that Naruto made, and they all were gaining strength, and they also all learned Fuinjutsu. Naruto integrated this because they all need to make some traps and seals of their own in case of emergency, as everyone was even more impressed by this. But now came the most important thing, and that was Naruto's protection, and to be his guard and ward. But unbeknownst to them, it was the ploy of their fathers to make sure that the 3 of them, well, got an attachment to Naruto so that they could marry. Unbeknownst to Naruto, one more thing was being done in his village behind his back, and that was him being put into CRA, helpful to the village, no, to the nation they had built thanks to their son. Everything was revealed to him, since he was logical enough to, well, now know how important you are, Naruto-kun, to most of us, said Hinata with confidence, and after that she understood what she said, she blushed, and so did the others, as Naruto's eyes widened, and for the first time his heart skipped a beat. As after that, what followed suit was, well, a lot of seduction and a lot, three of them, and couldn't decide who to date and who to choose. And that is when Hiruzen gave him the other villages had a meeting behind, well, Konoha. Since Konoha was a nation, he was allowed to have a meeting in the nationwide Kage Nation Summit, not in the Kage Summit anymore. As there, the other Kages were talking about one person, and that was Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, who was able to change the landscape of Konoha, more elemental nation than any other nation, aside from Fire Nation, as the ploys of their nation, but also become one, and damn strong one at that. Naruto, if he was on our side, think about it, just how far we can go. Do you think? Who was the newly instated Kazekage, then said, I think that we should at least try. Maybe, who knows, we will come to a conclusion. We have been in a to our villages, and we have to rely on ourselves to do our bidding. We'll go and see what they can do for us. As after they arrived in the Konoha nation, as after revealing this to them and the council, we see Hiruzen that said, and why should we trust you? We promise you that we won't cause any trouble, and we will even write a written down agreement that you can take to our daimyos if things go south. I see. As after that agreement was signed, and Danzo kept it safe for himself, and so did Hiruzen. Since this agreement is kept, now we will allow you to have a meeting with Naruto. As after they had a meeting with Naruto which went on for hours and hours, we see it was already night time. And the next day came, they had more talking to do, as Naruto spent 24 hours with them. As after that, they were all satisfied and left back, with one question in mind. How come such a genius wasn't born in their village? Because that was now the reason of their jealousy, nothing more. Because all of them were not hostile towards him. If anything, they all were grateful, even if in Oniki's case begrudgingly. As after all they left, they implemented what he has told them, and to their shock, it bore some results and was quite fruitful to them. And they were forever grateful for what Naruto did to them, because it helped them to become smaller nations in their own right. If not nations, they could be called free villages from the grips of the daimyos. And as for Konoha, well, their new leader was revealed, and it was none other than Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze himself. So what did Naruto do? After becoming the leader, he helped out most of the nations across the elemental nations, even Amegakure, he helped them out. And what he did next was even shocking to the sage himself, if it was possible. He formed an alliance with the Otsuzukis and helped them out to cultivate their chakra. Since they all needed was chakra to survive, Naruto helped them in the farm to cultivate chakra to such an extent that they were able to survive to no end and become immortals for the rest of the lives they lived. And even Kaguya and the others were on his side. And as for the Akatsuki, after hearing to his reason and seeing the changes he was bringing, even they were impressed and swayed by his words and were able to see the changes that he was able to bring. Even the people like Orochimaru saw the importance of Naruto's in this world. So in this way, Naruto was able to bring peace to the whole elemental nation. And at the age of 20, and being the daimyo and the leader of a whole nation known as Konoha, he was the most important person and hero to the whole elemental nation and even beyond to the Otsuzukis, the most important and the only human they respected. As for Naruto, he also learned about Bijus and was able to find a way to free them from the Jinchurikis in such a way that they were now a council of Bijus that watched over each and every aspect of nation as well as their respected homes. And Naruto in the end married his 3 fiancés and had, well, 3 to 4 kids with them. Because Hinata had Himawari and Boruto, the others had, well, different kids with Naruto. And as for Sasuke, he, well, married a nameless Uchiha woman, so everything was okay with that. And he still remained best friend of Naruto. As this is where I'm going to be leaving this content of this channel. Yeah, I know it is kind of way too much peaceful, but I wanted to make it into a peaceful one since I have been trying my hardest to make some dark what if Naruto's. I was getting kind of tired of that, so I thought, hey, why not change things up a bit? So yeah, as I told you before, tomorrow is going to be a movie, so please give me an idea in the comment section. Anyways, enough said. Without any further ado, let's end the video here, as this is Apollo Uchiha and I'm signing off for the day. Peace!